Hi everyone and happy Devil's Night Eve. I'm so glad you could join me tonight and for the next couple nights while we embark on rereading Corrupt. Would I love to read the entire series in the next 3 days? Yes. Do I have a life though? Also yes. So we will only be attempting to read Corrupt. However, the rest of the series will come when the rest of the series comes, and I think that considering the fact that I've managed to plan this, to be reading this book on Devil's Night tomorrow, I've done a pretty decent job. So I first read this series years ago. I'll try to find when I first ever logged it on Goodreads and pop it up on screen, but I hold a very, very special edition of the Devil's Night series. And you might be wondering, Lily, isn't that just one of the original paperbacks? Yes. However, this is an original paperback with none other than Lena's annotations while she hate-read this series. Hate reading might be pushing it. However, thoroughly enjoying how obscene this series is, it's probably more like it. So this book is filled with highlights and post-it notes and annotations from Bestie Lena, so are books 2 and 3. I have been dying to reread the series for ages, and it just happened that I have time now, and it's Devil's Night. How many times can I say Devil's Night? I've never read it in physical form. I read it, I think, like on my iPad the first time, and I'm going to be annotating this with my own annotations. I don't even know if I have my original annotations on my iPad. I'll have to have a look and see if I can transfer those over later, because I think that would also be fun. So I do have my annotating pouch, and we're just gonna have a fun time reading this for the next couple days. Probably finish it, ideally on Halloween. I think that would be fun. The day after Devil's Night, of course. I'm having so much fun. I had so much fun with the intro. I'm having so much fun now. I'm gonna have so much fun rereading this. Mind you, I was probably, 15 maybe when I first read this book. So my opinion may have changed. It is also a floppy book, which if you watched my last vlog where I was reading Mate at the time, I somehow got a really nice floppy edition of that book. So I love a good floppy book. It just makes the reading experience so much more fun, and considering this is a decent chunk of a book, going to be handy. So enough yapping, and let's get into Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. Okay, we are a solid 5 pages in and already have opinions. Sue me. But, okay, this isn't so much as an opinion as more of like a, I'm just confused. Our FMC is called Erica. Easy enough name. Simple. Straight to the point. But she goes by a nickname of this. How do you pronounce that? Theoretically, nickname, typically, in this case, a shortened form of her name, Erica. Okay, it's Rika. That sounds silly. Only other logical option is Rika, but that's not her name. Her name's not Erika. Her name's Erica. What? Like, I've never known, like, every time, I remember when I first read this book, I just did not know how to say her name in my head. I think I went with Rika, because that sounds the most like a name. Surely that can't be the nickname for Erica. But maybe I'm just overthinking this and I'm the silly person here. Probably. I'm not gonna lie, I have zero recollection of who Noah is. I also forgot that they were uni students, which makes things that happen in this book more okay, because for some reason I thought they were still in high school, and I was like, wait, that would be very, very wrong. Very wrong. So no, they are in fact university age. I think Erica is like 19. The fact that one of our first pieces of information on how Michael sees Erica, or at least how she feels he sees her, is Michael barely ever looked at me, and when he spoke to me, his tone was no better than if he were speaking to a dog. Girl, run. Like, what? I don't remember this. I really, truly do not remember this. Chapter 1 done, and we have set the oh so dramatic tone for the rest of the book, and we are about to hop back into Erica's perspective from 3 years ago, which is when things went south. And I'm not gonna lie, I really don't remember every single detail, so I am really looking forward to rereading it and remembering the plot, because to be honest, I don't quite remember the plot and how we got to certain pieces. So yeah, it is however midnight, so I'm probably only going to read like a chapter more and then continue this tomorrow. Good morning guys and happy Devil's Night Day. How exciting is that? I got 38 pages into the book, which is further than I thought I would get. I was flying through it. I didn't read very long last night because I went to bed, but now I remember how I managed to fly through this entire series in the span of who knows. Also, I checked and I do think that I read this book. Goodreads says 4 years ago, which means I would have been 17. So not as bad as I thought it was. The reason why I thought that this was set in high school is because it is set in high school. We get a present timeline following Erica and Michael, where they're at uni and they're like 19 years old. And then we have a past timeline, which is set 3 years before that, where Erica is just turning 17. So yeah, and we are 38 pages into this book. And we have had one too many barely legal conversations for my liking. Now, I love this series, okay? Like when I first read it, it was such a fun, it was one of the first ever dark romances that I read and really got me to enjoy that type of a book. So I have a lot of love for this series. However, now that I myself am no longer 17, which is Erica's age in this book at times, I can see the wrongness in some of these male main characters. So please, I do not condone what is happening in these series. They are purely for entertainment purposes, and I hope nobody takes these as a blueprint to what a romance should be, because no, that's a quick little morning update for you. We're gonna see how much I can read this morning, and then I will update you when I have thoughts. This girl fully goes, Michael was right, I wasn't a victim. Girl, you were blindfolded and being touched by some guy that was like 5 times your size and was very adamant about touching you. I don't think you were not a victim in that case. And Michael is not right. I'm like 7 chapters in and there have been so many references to being treated or being like a dog. We're 100 pages in, guys. There's like 4 of these. Why is that the only comparison we can draw? Sometimes it was funny, like once, but then other than that, it's just like, what? Really? But anyways, I'm enjoying myself. Her running around the gentleman's club just to like get a rise out of him was funny until she saw Damon, but it was funny. I would never do that. But you know what, Erica? Go off. I am 305 pages into this book. Honestly, I'm having a blast, I'm not gonna lie. Clearly I'm flying through this book. Like, this is not a short book, and I have nearly 200 pages left, but I forgot how easy it is to consume the series. Like, I think I talked about how quickly I flew through it the first time I read it. Happening again. Obviously, there's a few things that don't sit right with me, like the amount of times in this book where barely legal things are mentioned. I'm like, why is this coming up so much? Like, guys, could we not, like, maybe not? Maybe. Aside from that, it's just a fun, thrilling read, and honestly, Penelope Douglas writes their settings so well. Whilst I was waiting for those cookies, mind you, those cookies taste so good. I followed the recipe that Sarah Crowley uses because I saw her making them in her vlog, and I was like, I want to try those. They are so yummy. But anyways, while I was waiting for those in the fridge, I was scrolling through Pinterest because I love scrolling through Pinterest and making book-related boards. Actually, Devil's Night, the series, was the first Pinterest board that I made relating to a book, and ever since then, I haven't been stopped. I just keep doing them. So I was just going through that, and honestly, the way that the atmosphere is created, and as much as it is a character-driven plot, just the scenes and the setting are described so well. And like when they're in the catacombs, you can picture it so vividly. Some of the stuff I don't really need to picture, but it makes the book the book. It's interesting because obviously the plot of like trying to get back at each other, I don't quite remember. There's other more memorable things that I remember about the series than like that plot. Reading it again is really fun because I've almost like forgotten it, so it's kind of like I'm reading that for the first time again. And having Lena's annotations, this is so funny. I also like find myself like replying to her annotations, which is really funny because it's like we're texting except I'm like writing it back to her. I just think it'd be so funny if somebody else read this with both of our annotations in it. 200 pages to go. Erica still doesn't know what their plan is for her, and by them I mean the Four Horsemen. That is such a like, in my head it sounds fine, and like in the book it sounds fine, but if I say that out loud, that does not sound okay. It is technically Devil's Night tonight. I'm not doing anything for Halloween this year because none of my friends are here, so they're all out having fun wherever they are in the world on Halloween, and I'm at home, but that's okay because I'm at home with my Four Horsemen apparently. That actually sounds so bad. But anyways, I'm gonna read before I start saying stuff I don't want to hear myself say. Hi guys, we have now reached this far into the book, and we have finally cleared the air sort of on all of the shenanigans that have led us this far. Everyone's still mad at each other, but at least now we know it's not everybody's fault. And now comes the part of the book that I honestly don't remember, but it went so not how I was expecting it to go the first time I read it that I'm excited to try to remember, or excited to see how this plays out, because I just remember where they end up, but I don't remember how we get there. I want to remember why we hate Damon so much, because obviously I've read Kill Switch, but I don't really remember the intricacies of why we hate Damon so much. Guess I'll have to read to find out. So we are on page 369, and we have 100 pages, just over 100 pages left. Things are getting heated once more. Not that they haven't been heated in this book, but like, you know what I mean? I finished the book. Honestly, don't know how I read that so quickly. This is like nearly 500 pages, and I read that in like, what, 2 days? I easily probably could have finished the other 2 books in a week as well, but those are not my priority this month, and I think I would rather read those sporadically. So, opinions on the book. I loved the nostalgia. I know that it wasn't that long ago, but I loved the nostalgia of rereading it again for the first time, because like I said, this was like one of my first books that were like dark romancy. I think technically I read Punk 57 first, but I wouldn't really think of that as too much of a dark romance. Like, this is a lot more. I'm not gonna lie, that last plot, the whole yacht thing, it definitely took me out of the story. I'm not gonna lie, that seemed the most unrealistic thing in the book. It just didn't really fit. I wish that I don't mind what happened, I just wish that it was not set on a yacht and consequently the things that happened on the yacht. If you want to dip your toes into a dark romance, I think this is good. However, I know I keep repeating this, but there are just small things that I just don't remember from reading it the first time around. And I don't know if that was just my age at the time, or now that I've read more, I know that you don't have to continuously talk about people being barely legal. That negatively impacted my reading experience this time around, but I still love the characters. Corrupt is not my favourite. I do think Kill Switch is my favourite. However, I don't think I gave, is it Nightfall? The last one, the best shot, because it was such a long one and I think I was just reading it to get through it and not necessarily reading it out of enjoyment. So I can't wait to read that one whenever that happens. The characters and the whole rich people getting up to shenanigans and getting away with stuff is just so entertaining to read about. And I think there was enough character growth to enjoy the characters. But yeah, the rest of the series I think is better as well. The plot just also gets better because it's way more character driven than this book. A bit of my review. It was just a fun ride to go on again. And I love Penelope Douglas books. I'm pretty sure I've probably read like 90% of their books. So yeah, and soon I will have a Penelope Douglas shrine to display on my shelves because I currently only own books 1 to 3 of this and Punk 57, and I have read a lot more. I also really love the Fall Away series, but that is a lot younger because also I think the kids are in high school in that one. So that one is a lot younger. It's definitely not YA, I don't think, but it's not, you know, the characters are still teenagers. So thank you for sticking around. This is probably like the shortest reading vlog I've done to date, which is fun. Let me know if you enjoy the shorter vlogs or if you prefer the nearly hour-long vlogs that I seem to be doing. I'll see you in the next reading vlog.